Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at noon.
Now at noon, we now know the name of the suspect involved in an hours-long standoff with deputies in a home near Windermere. Plus, Port Canaveral leaders continue discussing the controversial proposal for a new liquid natural gas plant. What neighbors there are saying. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Julie Broughton. Of course, our big story is the cold temperatures. We've got to get to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And Candace, stepping out the door this morning, again, the cold sticking around and more cold on the way.
It was brutal again this morning. So the same layers you needed yesterday morning, this morning, you're going to need it again tomorrow morning. Then we're going to slowly start to warm just a bit, all before a stronger blast comes in just in time for your weekend. It's cold. The amount of cold we're talking about this weekend is cold enough to maybe even cancel any outdoor plans you might have. And I'll show you why in just a little bit. Right now, temperatures across the Sunshine State, we are a little warmer than yesterday at this point in time. But notice here in the Orlando area, we're only at 53. Just to the north and west, 41 right now in the Villages. We're at 49 in Palm Coast. So you certainly will need the jackets and the sweaters throughout the majority of the day. But just like this morning, tomorrow morning, we'll be dealing with a cold weather advisory through about 9 a.m. on Thursday, and we will have another round of freezing conditions across Central Florida, with the exception of you guys right along the immediate coastline of Flagler, Volusia, and all of Brevard County. But notice our highs, again, gradually trying to warm up, still running well below average by Friday. That will be the warmest day of the week. But as we track into Saturday, the winds will kick up, the rain will start to roll in, and then we're talking about highs staying in the 40s. So the potential of record cold, not only for our daytime highs, but our overnight lows will be likely, with the potential of a rare hard freeze in the forecast. We're going to have the full breakdown of what you can expect as we head into that weekend coming up in just a couple minutes.
Candace, thank you. Several counties are once again opening cold shelters and warming centers as the long stretch of cold weather sticks with us. We have a complete list of every location for you on our website, clickorlando.com. Our coverage of the cold snap continues online right now. We have advice from the experts on everything from protecting your plants to making sure your backyard pool is prepped and ready. Look right there on the homepage of clickorlando.com. In Orange County, deputies are investigating the scene of a shooting at a gas station. It happened this morning at the 7-Eleven on East Colonial Drive, close to Bonneville Drive. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is there with what happened.
Orange County deputies received a call about a shooting at this 7-Eleven gas station around 3:30 Wednesday morning. When they arrived, they found a man in his 40s who had been shot. That man was rushed to the hospital and is expected to survive his injuries. What we were able to see here on scene is there's a couple of cars in between the gas pumps and lots of sheriff's deputies here investigating. Of course, this is an active investigation and details are limited. We're still waiting to learn if there's any possible suspects in this shooting and more information about the victim as well. Once we have that, we'll bring it to you on air and online at clickorlando.com. Reporting in Orange County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
New at noon, we now know the name of the suspect involved in an hours-long standoff near Windermere. This all happened yesterday at a home on Sonco Avenue near Keens Crossing Elementary. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says deputies found Richard Stoner dead after he shot a woman. That's caused Keens Elementary to go on lockdown. At the time, deputies believe Stoner was still inside the house. So that led to a standoff that lasted for hours before deputies say they went into the home and say Stoner shot himself. The scene caused a major scare for neighbors.
It's pretty scary. Like, we were going to the gym, me and my friends, and then suddenly we see all this and we don't understand what was happening.
Honestly, they're just in shock. It doesn't really happen around here. It's quite a quiet part of Orlando, so it's definitely quite shocking.
Deputies say the woman who was hurt and taken to the hospital is now stable. In Orange City, an investigation is underway after a man was hurt in an officer-involved shooting at a bank. The shooting happened yesterday at the Truist Bank on Enterprise Road. Orange City police say an officer shot a man who was holding a knife and tried to enter the bank. Police say the man was taken to the hospital, and we are looking to learn more about his condition. Right now, FDLE is investigating the officer-involved shooting. Happening now, leaders in Port Canaveral are once again discussing plans for a new liquid natural gas plant, and that's getting some major pushback from neighbors. A company is looking to use land near the port to build the facility, which would be used for both cruise ships and the space program. It would create dozens of new jobs. Some neighbors in Merritt Island said they worry it could also put their safety at risk.
We're told this is progress, but progress does not put families, schools, and evacuations at risk for corporate profit. This project threatens the Banana River wildlife, tourism, restaurants, property values, and insurance rates. The profits leave our community, the risks stay here.
We will, of course, update you on this Port Authority meeting both on air and online at clickorlando.com. It's hard to find a city in Central Florida that isn't running out of space, and with more people comes more traffic. At Apopka, that means taking a look at the entire city to see where things can be expanded. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is there, where people will have a chance to share their concerns.
As commercial properties and new neighborhoods continue to be built, Apopka is projected to face increasing transportation challenges in the coming years. Issues people are already dealing with.
I've noticed an increase in traffic, especially near the planning of new communities. And when we first got here, it was very little.
Several of the city's roads already have more cars than they can handle, like Round Lake.
I know it's overcapacity.
Where Otis Dover has lived for more than 50 years.
You can't get out on the road without getting ran over. In fact, I've been hit right here at this intersection trying to make a left turn.
He feels it can only get worse as more people move in.
I know development is out of control.
As leaders try to create a plan of action to improve transportation for cars, pedestrians, and cyclists, residents hope it actually makes a difference.
What would I like to see done? Somehow slow the traffic down, minimize the amount of cars coming down through here.
Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, let's take you outside. This is a live look in Orlando of the Frito-Lay plant near Silver Star Road and John Young Parkway. It is currently being demolished. You can see there. In November, we told you PepsiCo Foods U.S. made the announcement to close it, putting hundreds of people out of a job last year. The company says the decision was driven by business needs. Pepsi said workers will get transition assistance, career support, and pay and benefits through the process. The threat of a partial government shutdown is looming after federal agents shot and killed Minneapolis resident Alex Preddy. Friday's deadline is fast approaching, and Democrats are pushing for policy changes to ICE, and a growing number want Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to step down. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Secretary.
Democratic leaders are calling for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to be fired or face impeachment proceedings in the aftermath of Saturday's shooting death of Alex Preddy.
She's deeply unqualified. She never should have been confirmed to begin with by Senate Republicans.
More than 160 House Democrats have signed on to an impeachment resolution. While it's unlikely to move forward in the Republican-controlled Congress, a growing number of GOP lawmakers are calling for an impartial investigation into the incident. And at least two Republican senators, Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski, say Noem should step down.
She has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own. We should own the issue of border security and immigration.
So far, President Trump appears to be standing by her, saying she's doing a great job.
She was there with the border. Who closed up the border? She did, with Tom Homan, with the whole group.
The backlash over the shooting and immigration crackdown in Minneapolis has also triggered a standoff on Capitol Hill over a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security, with a deadline Friday.
The Senate must not pass the DHS budget as currently written.
Democrats are pushing for reforms to be included in the negotiation.
I am looking for a series of changes in conduct so that Border Patrol and ICE are following standards that most of us expect of every state and local law enforcement officer.
The structure of the bill actually provides incredible safeguards and a lot of progress.
Senate Republicans want to move forward with a vote on the funding measure without changes, saying other agencies such as FEMA and TSA would be impacted by a partial shutdown. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Marion County is the latest school district in Central Florida to go high-tech to keep weapons off campus. Last night, the school board unanimously approved the purchase of Open Gate weapons detection system. Students pass through the special screeners, which are designed to detect weapons on individuals as well as in backpacks. The plan is for all traditional high schools to get 2 of the systems, with an extra on hand for graduations and to use at other schools. The total price tag, $400,000. The long-standing cold is already here, and it could get even colder this weekend. Coming up, we'll have your full forecast and show you how farmers are working to make sure their crops are safe with the freeze. Here's a live look for you in Mount Dora. This is our City of Mount Dora camera. You're watching News 6 at noon. We're coming right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Welcome back here at 12:13. Let's take a beautiful live look outside. This is our Lunch Credit Union camera out there at Port Canaveral. Man, there's a lot of sunshine. That sun isn't really doing a whole lot. We woke up a lot of spots in the 30s again today. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is here, and this isn't even the coldest that we're going to be dealing with.
No, I mean, we're really going to slash those temperatures down another 10, 15 degrees overnight. So here's a quick look at the graphics. The big picture, the big number here in that navy blue shading, that's the actual temperature. The light blue is the feels like. At this point in time, the wind chill and the actual temperature are pretty similar. The winds have died down a bit, but it is still downright chilly out there. We're only at 53 in Orlando. Right now, Ocala is still at 49 degrees. We're at 51 in Leesburg. Same there in Daytona Beach. But as we progress into the afternoon, we're going to try to warm up with temperatures staying in the low 60s. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast into tonight.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
All right, after another cool afternoon, you'll certainly need the jacket, the light jacket, especially as the sun starts to go down. Temperatures once again are expected to tumble. We're back into the 20s. We're back into the 30s. At the start of the show, we told you about the cold weather advisory and the freeze warning that once again has been issued for tonight because of temperatures like this. Feels like temperatures, though, will be dropping even further. So the same amount of layers you were this morning, you're going to need them again for tomorrow. Now, as we head really into Thursday afternoon, primarily Friday, we're going to start seeing that warming trend happen. It's not going to be a drastic increase in temperatures, but we will be back into those 60s. Then we start talking about our next cold front. This one is going to eventually become almost a clipper, that nor'easter that will be bringing a mess up to the northeast. Locally here, we'll see the tail end of that front. You can see early Saturday morning, there will be a couple scattered showers in the mix. But I do want to turn your attention to the Gulf Coast because this has been getting a lot of attention lately. So what's happening is as that cold front comes through early Saturday, the cold air will rush in behind it. Now, while most of us here in East Central Florida will start to see our skies clear, there's going to be an opportunity for what we call Gulf effect. Basically, it's like lake effect snow, like up in the Great Lakes. Cold air is going to rush over the still abnormally warm waters of the Gulf, and that could produce a little more cloud cover, could also produce a little more moisture. So if some of that moisture actually moves onshore, temperatures could be close to that freezing mark, which will have the opportunity of producing some of that pink and blue. That is the possibility of a kind of a rain-snow mix or even actual snow. At this point in time, I don't see that much snow moving that far inland, but there is certainly a likelihood that that low-end chance of snow could be possible along our Gulf Coast waters, but you can see most of it will be staying outside of Central Florida. So if you see online Central Florida snow, we're talking more West Central Florida. But other than that, though, the snow flurries isn't the big story. This is the big story. Area-wide temperatures are expected to get down into the 20s. One of the models bringing us down all the way to 23 degrees potentially. Officially, we're putting a low early Sunday morning at 27. But this is what it could be feeling like if you're heading out the door Sunday morning, early morning services, for instance. It could be feeling like 8 or 9 degrees north and west of I-4. Could be feeling like 12 degrees even in the Metro Orlando area. So with temperatures like this, it's no surprise that we're going to be tracking the potential not only of a freeze, but a hard freeze. And that's why preparations need to be upped up a little bit, more than just bringing in the sensitive plants and obviously the pets, which is something we do even during a frost and freeze warning. But we're really going to have to start focusing on some of our exterior piping, especially for older homes, manufactured homes as well. One of the best and easiest things to do, open up the cabinets under your sinks as though you're heating your home. It'll help heat up the pipes as well, but also keep just a little bit of a drip going on most of your faucets because it's much harder to freeze water that's actually moving. And don't forget, here in Florida, many people have it, those pool pumps. Those are exterior pumps, and you want to make sure you get those pool pumps running throughout the overnight because at the end of the day, it's better to be safe than sorry because those damages can really cost a lot. So as we get results here, your full 7-day forecast, the biggest impact day is going to be Sunday, not only because we'll be waking up into the 20s, highs are expected to stay in the 40s, Julie. We, of course, will be watching all these models and everything as we get a bit closer to the weekend.
Okay, Candace, thank you. As Candace was just telling us, so you already know, it is cold, and that cold is here to stay. News 6's Mark Lehman spoke with farmers in Eustis to see how they're working to protect their crops during this long-standing cold.
It was a cold and ice-filled morning at this farm in Eustis, and that's actually a good thing. We've seen it accumulating on the plants, also on the ground here as well. And we spoke with the farmers about how all of this is important for protecting these crops.
Knowing that we had the water on throughout the freezing times, we're confident that it would be okay.
As general manager of Amberbrook Farms, Caleb Bradley spent the overnight hours making sure the sprinklers kept running as temps dipped below freezing on Wednesday.
When the water freezes, that action through fusion creates heat, and that heat is what's protecting the fruit and then the young flowers and buds that are turning into fruit.
The constant irrigation creating a protective barrier from damaging frost on strawberry and blueberry plants.
Spraying the water overnight creates the heat, keeps it warm, and now as you can see we're in the process of melting. Oh look, we got a berry, early berry right there.
Without the protection, entire crops could be lost to the cold.
And you could kind of feel it. Is it falling apart? Is it mushy? This one, if you touch, it's good still.
And Bradley says the cold stress can also produce sweeter berries. It's an added benefit from a sometimes necessary precaution during the winter months.
This will melt naturally and then probably start the process over again several nights this week as we continue to deal with it.
Now the goal for all of this is that the protections will produce more strawberries looking like this, which is important as Amberbrook Farms is holding their Strawberry Festival in just a couple of weeks. We're also told that the measures will continue this weekend when temps are expected to dip into the low 20s. In Eustis, Mark Lehman, News 6.
It's been months since Orlando Health closed Rockledge Hospital in Brevard County. Now a big move to bring healthcare back to the region is in full motion. Coming up, what a new emergency room means for response times and access to care. This morning in Rockledge, Health First broke ground on Brevard County's first freestanding emergency room. The new facility will be operational 24/7 with 12 emergency beds. It will offer on-site lab and imaging services, including CT scans and x-rays. Health First says the center is designed to stay operational during major storms with backup power for up to 72 hours.
And that's exactly what this facility is built for, our community. It will ease pressure, restore balance, and allow our teams to continue delivering the timely, high-quality care they're known for, close to where patients live.
The project is being fast-tracked after the closure of Orlando Health Rockledge Hospital last year left people driving farther for emergency care. The demolition for that hospital started in December. A deputy in Polk County helped a 911 caller who says there was a frog under her couch and that she was, quote, deathly afraid of the animals. So, of course, we have to have a picture for you. The sheriff's office says this is Deputy Rios holding the two, quote, huge and big frogs after removing them from the home in Lakeland. PCSO says the caller told them she was afraid of frogs and that her anxiety was very high. Okay, so this is our topic for today's poll. Which of these Florida animals is the scariest? Here are your options: sharks, alligators, bears, cockroaches, pythons, monkeys, frogs, or other. So far, it looks like cockroaches are winning with 35% of the vote. So you'd rather have a cockroach or an alligator than a cockroach in your house? I have questions. We need to know what you think. Take the poll by going to clickorlando.com/react. We'll be right back. All right, we're tracking cold.
We are tracking a lot more cold. Another chilly night tonight, and we're talking about a big blast that was heading to your weekend.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this noon. Our next newscast is at 3, and you can always check clickorlando.com for any updates. Have a great day.